What's up, YouTube? Okay, so I know this might look familiar from the last video that I did with the 9,000 calories and try-on haul, but I actually decided this is my favorite one. So, okay, I'm really sorry that I don't remember who it was, but I've gotten so many comments, but in a video, or on the last video that I did in my hot tub, somebody made a comment that I should make it into a series. Why am I thinking Steve? No. Nick? I don't know. I'm sorry. But you can leave your comment below and you can take credit for it, okay? So I decided that that's a brilliant idea. And I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna take it to a whole nother level where, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. As you can see from the title, Hot Topics in the Tub, that's what we are going to do. We're going to talk about all different types of topics. We're going to talk about food sensitivity today. We're going to talk about emotional connection to food, food addiction. We'll talk about training. We'll talk about a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything that I'm all about. As a coach, as a mom, as a personal trainer. I hate that word, those words. You know, as a life coach for a lot of people, as, you know, just a chick that works out, as a fellow Crohn's warrior, colitis warrior, herniated disc fighter, you know, all the different ailments that I have. So here is what we're also going to do, which again, I will say my man is the one that came up with this idea, that I am going to start having guests. So, I have an idea as to who my first guest is going to be. There actually is somebody that I really want to be my first guest, but I don't think that they're going to be able to just because they don't live in the area. But whatever, you guys are just going to have to wait. Men, women, not children, and we'll just have conversations. So what I would love for you guys to do is, if there's anybody that you've seen in my videos in the past, whatever, year or so, maybe make a suggestion as to who you'd like me to do a video with in my hot tub. And then topics that you want me to talk about. So I'm about to head outside and you're gonna come join me in the hot tub and you'll hear what we're gonna talk about today. Okay guys, so as I mentioned in the last video, I would love to have my bubbles on, but they're gonna be a little bit too loud for you guys. So here we go. Today we're gonna talk about a couple topics. I'll probably try to do my best to talk about maybe like 2 or 3 different topics every time I'm in here. I'm also trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I talk about the 5 components of fitness and the 5th one is recovery, and this is like a game changer for my back. So those of you that don't know, I have a herniated disc. However, as soon as I hurt my back, if you've been following me for years, you know, because it happened about 2 years ago, you know that the second I found out that it was a herniated disc, I was excited and I couldn't wait to document my recovery because I truly believe that I was put on this earth so that I'm given all these challenges, whatever it is, Crohn's disease, eating disorder, depression, you know, bursitis in my hip, all the different ailments that I have, so that I can get through them and then show people that it can be done. So I am here, I am motivated by motivating others. So yay, thank you for me having a herniated disc, because I know that a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people are laying on their couch in pain, talking about how they can't do things and they can't do that. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna prove that you can. And hopefully I'm motivating people to wanna get up and not wanna live a life in pain. So, I'm kind of going to fill you guys in. I know in the last video, I had made a mention that I was going to talk about food sensitivities, and somebody made a comment and said that they couldn't wait for that video. So I'm going to start with that. So those of you that know that I have Crohn's disease, there's a lot of things. So like, I've had a lot of people reach out to me, let's just say on Instagram or Facebook throughout the years, and ask if I can give some recommendations. Maybe they couldn't financially budget to coach with me, so they just asked me for advice. And listen, I'm going to give advice, okay? I want to help somebody, whether they can work with me or not. Working with me would obviously be better because I've had people with Crohn's disease, when they check in with me, they got to check in with me and let me know if there's any, like, I write them out a special meal plan, and then they keep me in the loop as to, okay, on this day I have this symptom after this meal, and that's how we figure out, because everybody's different. I've helped quite a few people with Crohn's disease and colitis get into remission, and I will say, quite a few that were never clients. I just gave them advice. So, Here's the thing, and I know this kind of also gets into a little bit of what I want to talk about with this book that I'm reading on food addiction. But I believe that, yet again, I am blessed with Crohn's disease. Like, I am glad that I have it, because Tony Robbins talks about linking pain and linking pleasure to things, so I link pain to eating bad food. So that will actually have me physically feeling sick, have me in the hospital with an IV in my arm, not be able to play with my kids. Like, these are all the different things that will happen. So for me, I could be surrounded by foods that I grew up with. As an Italian, I haven't eaten pizza in like 20 years. And it's because that doesn't do anything for me. What does it for me is being able to motivate people, being in shape, being like an anomaly, or proving people wrong and proving doctors wrong and all that other stuff. That's what motivates me. So what I will say is, you know, a lot of the times it's hard to get motivated when you're in a lot of pain. Now, there's something that I actually never said in my last video that I really wanted to say. And there are a lot of people that aren't working out because they're in pain, but you're in pain because you're not working out. And I said that in a video probably like a decade ago. And I always talk like that one, and like, eat, food is fuel, and you eat to live, not live to eat. And then what's funny is that literally she uses in this book that I'm reading, she uses this same line. So I think that people just have to, we'll get into food addictions maybe in another video, or maybe I'll touch up on it a little bit today. But I think when it comes to like food sensitivities, the way that you need to think, like, not that you're blessed that you have a condition, but you have to really want to try to figure out the answers, okay? I know people that are sick and they're mad that they're sick and they almost like punish themselves. Somebody very close to me is sick, and it's like this person continues to eat bad food almost like because she's mad that she can't eat that food. Instead of like, why are you punishing yourself? Like, you're back in the hospital all the time. You're having to flush out your digestive tract. You can't eat for I don't even know how long, whatever. So you have to start thinking of like food in a different light, because at the end of the day, food really just is, it's energy. That's all it's meant to do. It's meant to give you energy to get through the day. That's it. There's no other purpose to it. It is not entertainment. It is not love. It is not anything. It is nothing but energy. So now getting into like food sensitivities. So I will make suggestions, okay? So I am a huge believer in avoiding certain foods if you have stomach aches, okay? And the stomach aches could be IBS, it could be Crohn's, it could be colitis, it could be a lot of different factors. But if you're trying to figure out what's going on, you want to figure out what your triggers are. And the only way to do that is to clean your system, cleanse it. I don't believe in detoxing. I believe you cleanse your body with natural, with good healthy food. Okay, having food in its most natural state, like your proteins, yes, from like, you could have fish, you could have chicken, you could have eggs, you could have protein powder. I mean, I don't use protein shakes because they do tend to bother my stomach. And there are certain foods that and your food sensitivities might change. So like, I'm a big believer in people journaling, if you're not physically working with a coach. But foods to avoid. And this is when I first found out that I had, okay, so let me backtrack. From 19 to 21, I was sick all the time. I was literally, everything that I ate, I was physically in pain. Like, I have 2 children. If you guys don't know, my second child is adopted. So I gave birth to my first son, and I literally was having labor pains, and they were able to tell me, because I also had a Crohn's attack when I was giving birth to him, and this is a contraction, and I'm like, oh my god, I'll take this over a Crohn's attack any day. Like, Crohn's attacks are debilitating, horrible. Just get into the whole food sensitivity thing. So avoiding foods, cleansing your system, and then trying to figure out what your body is sensitive to. But I will say that things that some of them are bad and some of them aren't bad, but they're just bad for people with medical conditions or with intestinal problems. Oh, my story, I was telling from 19. Okay, so from 19 to 21, I was in pain all the time. Thank you. I was in pain all the time. The doctors just kept telling me, because I had a really tough childhood. If you haven't read my story, you can go to jennageary.com, JENNAGUIRRE. It's actually in the description, and read the About Me page. Get comfortable, maybe get in the hot tub, because it's an effing novel. I had somebody transcribe it after I told them my story, so it isn't quite up to date. I will say I'm divorced, and I do talk about my man because I am now recently dating somebody, or not dating somebody, this is my person. So, whatever. Let's just get back to it. So you can read my story. So from 19 to 21, I was sick all the time, and the doctors just kept telling me that it's just stress, because I talked about my life a bit, and what I was going through, and living in New York, and all that other stuff. Then 21, finally, I found a doctor that would test me for things. So I finally got a colonoscopy, and I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Recently after that, I was diagnosed with colitis, okay? I was on medication for 2 years. This is prior to me becoming a personal trainer. So 2 years of like being on medication, but still getting attacks and stuff like that. And finally, fast forward, at the age of 23, not really having, maybe a little bit having to do with Crohn's, but also having to do with a lot of other things that happened in my life. You'll read it in the story if you want to take the time to do that. And had a nervous breakdown. And I got to the hospital and I said, I'm going to do everything in my power, because I had actually started getting certified. So I'm going to do research, I'm going to go to the bookstore, I'm going to read up on metabolic dieting, blood type dieting, all different types of IBS and all that other stuff. I'm going to read up on it, and I'm going to get myself into remission. F these doctors and F medication. I don't want to be on medication, okay? And with everything that I went through in my life, I saw doctors telling me that I needed to be on medication for depression, which I personally, listen, if you're somebody that's on medication, there is no judgment, okay? I just don't think that medication is the answer. I think that it's like taking Advil for a headache. You gotta figure out why you keep getting the headache so that you don't have to take Advil. Why are you depressed? Okay, so that's it. I just touched up on that one. I'm done touching it. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the medication. So I got myself into remission, okay? And I literally eliminated so many foods. It was ridiculous. I was eating small meals throughout the day, to the point where I would be eating like every hour, because my stomach couldn't handle big meals, which is obviously different now if you've seen my latest video with the 9,000 calories. And it was the exact same food all the time, which I know some people will be like, oh my god, I get so bored of that, which yet again, food is not entertainment, okay? Food is energy. So, I eliminated, and I know I'm finally getting to it, I eliminated vinegar. I actually did take a blood test to find out what foods I'm sensitive to when it comes to like the Crohn's, not necessarily allergic to, like people like that are allergic to shellfish. So I was sensitive to like black pepper, all citrus, highly allergic to like lemon, to the point where I actually would have to go to a restaurant and tell them, you can't even cook the food on the same pan, because if you do, I'll be in the hospital. And a waitress forgot once, and literally within minutes of me eating, my stomach is sticking out. It looked like I had 2 sets of boobs. And within a couple hours, I was in the hospital on an IV. So I would say try to avoid things like seeds and nuts. Vinegar is insane on the intestines. Citrus, and dairy. Okay, so those are some simple things that you can avoid. And again, try to eat as much less definitely stay away from canned stuff. But I would say try to have your carbs from rice or potatoes, even oatmeal, and then try to have just protein. And they're like eggs, not having protein shakes. I mean, you could have vitamins too, but I would just stick to the basic vitamins, and then just see how your body reacts to it. And then if there's a food that you like, right? Let's just say you're doing really good and you're not getting stomach aches, and then you want to introduce vinegar and see, can I have vinegar? You introduce one thing, one time a day, and see how your body reacts to it. Then if you're good for a week, then okay, let me see about this citrus thing. I add in an orange, or I put lemon on my fish, or whatever it is. then you see how your body reacts to that. So that's how you deal with trying to figure out what your body is sensitive to and what your body can handle, but what things I feel like are super triggers for people with stomach issues. So I looked at the time as to how long this video is, and I feel like this is a good topic to end on. I am going to tell you about this book that I've been reading. I will tell you that in my house we are not allowed to say the F word. I will tell you. I say the actual F word a lot, but the F word that I'm talking about is fat. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm reading a book. I'm doing something where I read 10 pages of a book every single day. Some of you might know what I'm doing just based off that, but I'm going to talk about it more in detail. Maybe I'll talk about it in the next video after I've been doing this for like a little over a week. And this book that I'm reading, I truly feel like it is like, a client sent it to me as a gift, and she said, I feel like you and this doctor, like, I feel like so much stuff that she says is stuff that you've said throughout the years, because this client's been with me for a long time. So what somebody actually commented to me and said that maybe like I should talk about, like highlight some things and talk about it in the video. So I think in the next video, what I'll do is I'll kind of talk about this and or something else. Like I'd like to pick something that people are asking for. So I want you to leave your comments and let me know what you want me to talk about. And then I'll kind of like touch up on this book, and then I'll touch up on that. Because again, I want to give back. Like I want to give you guys what you want to see and hear me talk about. So leaving your comments is super important. It's not just to leave comments and to give compliments or whatnot. It's to leave comments so that I know what to do the next time. So let me know, leave in the comments as to what you want me to talk about in the next one. I'm going to do a few where it's just me, and then in the future I'll start introducing some other people. And again, please don't forget to leave your comments just to let me know maybe who you would like me to invite into my jacuzzi. And that's it. So, love you guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.